2 minutes ago, Iranian missiles hit Dimona again. The same facility. The same target that Iran struck days ago while the Israeli government went silent about what was hit and what was damaged and what was released into the air above the Negev desert. The silence that followed the first Dimona strike has not ended. The damage assessment from the first strike has not been shared with the Israeli public. The communities surrounding Dimona have still not been told what the first strike did to the infrastructure inside that perimeter. And while that silence was still in place, while the government was still managing what to say and what not to say about the first strike, Iranian missiles hit Dimona a second time. This is not escalation in the conventional sense of the word. This is Iran telling Israel and the world that the first strike was not a one-time demonstration. It was the opening of a sustained campaign against the most sensitive nuclear infrastructure in the Middle East. And the second strike arriving while the damage from the first is still being hidden from the Israeli public is the most deliberate and most calculated signal Iran has sent in this entire conflict. It is saying, we know what we hit, we know what state it is in, we know more about what is happening inside that perimeter right now than the Israeli civilians living downwind of it. And we are hitting it, again. In the next few minutes, I will show you exactly what the second Dimona strike means, why the timing relative to the ongoing damage concealment from the first strike is not accidental, what the cumulative effect of two strikes on the same nuclear facility produces in terms of structural and radiological risk, and what a government that is now hiding the damage from two consecutive strikes on its nuclear infrastructure means for the millions of Israelis who have not been told what is burning inside Dimona right now. Before we get into it, thanks for watching. Your support is what keeps this going, and I genuinely appreciate every one of you here. Make sure you are subscribed and like the video so more people can follow this. Now let's get into it. To understand why the second Dimona strike is more significant than the first, you need to understand what the first strike left behind, and why the government's silence about that damage is the context that makes everything about the second strike more alarming than it would be on its own. The first Dimona strike produced a damage pattern that Israeli defense authorities assessed in real time. They know which structures inside the perimeter were hit. They know the operational status of each component of the facility following the first strike. They know whether the reactor infrastructure, the reprocessing facilities, or the weapons-related storage and assembly areas sustained direct hits or peripheral damage from the first salvo. They know what the current radiological status of the facility is. They know whether there are active containment concerns following the first strike that have not been resolved. And they have chosen not to share any of that information with the Israeli public, with the communities in the surrounding region, or with the international community that has a legitimate interest in the radiological status of a facility that sits in a desert whose wind patterns can carry contamination across significant distances. That silence was already the most consequential information withholding of this entire conflict before the second strike arrived this morning. The second strike has now compounded everything the first silence was concealing, because whatever damage the first strike produced inside the Dimona perimeter, the second strike has now added to it. Whatever structural integrity was compromised by the first salvo now faces additional stress from the second. Whatever containment challenges existed after the first strike now face the additional impact and heat and pressure